Alright, hey everybody. Well, the first thing if you want to cook a brisket is get yourself a brisket. And I was, it's you want to get prime if you can, but of course you're going to pay for it. And this one was on sale. I said, hey, my wife got it for me. It's going to be awesome. I don't care. Let's cook it up. So tried to go get another one, put it in the freezer, but they were all out. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is mix up a rub. And of course here we are in quarantine, so I'm going to use what I've got. And, so this is just iodized salt, it's not kosher salt, which would probably be better. Go ahead and put a couple tablespoons of that in there. And I'm kind of going to go equal parts. And then we got some black pepper, that in there. And then the last thing I add is garlic powder. And, so we call this SPG. Salt, pepper, garlic, and again it's about equal parts, maybe a little less garlic. Normally I put paprika in here, but I'm now all out of it, and so I think this will just mix that up, and then I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to do a little trimming. Now I'm not a great trimmer, and but I'm going to get this done. Take off kind of the fat, the really hard part on this side. Then when I turn it over, there's a lot more on that side to turn on. That's kind of what it looks like. I want to leave a little bit there. And then we're going to go ahead and get this rub everywhere. And don't be afraid, it can be pretty liberal. I could probably do a bit more on this one. Get it all over both sides. And make sure to try to get the edges. Just keep going until happy with it, get it rubbed in there. Ready to go. Alright, so now we're going to get our grill set up. And what I'm going to be doing here is first I'm going to put a little bit of charcoal aside to kind of get things started, so I don't want too much in here, maybe like 10 briskets or so, and put those to the side. And then what we're going to be doing is something called the snake method. And so this works out real well, and the nice thing about this is you don't have to really add any more charcoal. This will keep going probably for maybe 10 hours. And so what you do is you just put two of them next to each other, like this. You go around your whole grill, and then you're going to put two more on top. So you kind of got little piles of 4. Get your charcoal started, and once all that's ready, you take that and just pour it on one side. Make sure you keep it away from the other side because you don't want to start 2 fires. You just want one. And so I'll kind of stack these all up on that one side, and then as this goes, this will light the next charcoal and go around the ring. And the next thing to do is get the smoke in there, so we're using hickory wood chunks. You definitely want to use chunks, not the little wood chips like you would in gas smoke or electric stove. So you put these every so often because you don't want to get too much smoke, and these will catch on fire and add some heat too. So just kind of put those every few inches, and you'll be all set up with your fuel ready to go. Alright, next thing I like to do is get a tray of water, and then put that on the bottom, just add a little water. This will just keep some moisture in there, and it also will collect the drippings so they don't cause flare-ups or anything like that. Now, your grill is ready to go. Next thing to do is put your big hunk of meat on there. I think this one was just under 13 pounds, which is a pretty good size for a Weber. You you're gonna have a hard time fitting like a 20-pound brisket in here, but I mean you can do it. But I think for us this is a good size. So get that on there. Notice I'm putting on the other side of the grill, not where the coals are. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get a probe in there. So I got one probe I put in the meat, and, so we can keep an eye on the temperature. And then the other probe I'm gonna put next to where the meat's cooking to try to, so I know what the ambient temperature is of the grill. So I'll put that kind of over here, not next to the coals, because that's, you know, somewhere we're cooking it. Couldn't make up my mind. There you go. Okay. And then plug that baby in, get your lid on, and you're ready to do some barbecue. Now it might take you a half hour, sometimes even 45 minutes to kind of stabilize the heat. And so what I do is I start with the bottom one there on the halfway mark, or maybe even fully open, and then I try to adjust it on the top one, which looks like I got about 230. So eventually, after a couple hours, I'm going for somewhere in between 275, 300, 250 even, to 300 is a good temp. Okay, so now we've been cooking for a couple hours, and come back and check on it here. You can see good smoke going, and got a little bit of bark happening. But what I want to do here is just I want to rotate the meat every once in a while, because you can see the fire starts creeping around, and I want to keep it on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rotate it around, and just kind of keep it on the indirect side of the grill. Readjust my probe there. Back to cooking. Raising hell with the hippies and the cowboys. They don't care about no trends, they don't care about songs that sell. Alright, so now it's a couple more hours, and I got a real good bark going on this thing. And I'm just entering the stall, which is, the stall is the point where you're evaporating the same amount of moisture as you are adding heat, and so it doesn't really go up much temperature. Okay, so we hit around 165, and it was in the stall for probably about an hour. That's a good time to go ahead and do a wrap. So I like to add a little moisture here. It's just water. You could put stock in there. Pork butt or something like that, I would put apple cider. So I just get one sheet on the bottom, and then one on the top, and then just wrap it up. And what this is going to do is it's going to speed up the cook time a little bit, and it's also going to make sure that it stays nice and moist, and it'll also help it push through that stall, so it gets to cooking again. So we just get that wrapped up. And then we're going to put it back on the grill. We're still shooting for kind of 275 to 300, but it dips down to 250 sometimes. That's okay. I really don't want to go on higher than 300 though. So I just make sure that's on the other side of the grill, and then I'll go ahead and get my probe set up again, and we're going to let this baby go. Probably take another couple hours. Let's see, I think we put this on around 9 o'clock this morning, and it's about 2 o'clock right now. So this thing's going to be ready for dinner. Okay, so what we're looking for is a final temp around 200. And you can see here we got to 201. So we're going to go ahead and do a little probe test. And so what we're looking for is just tenderness. So we can stick our probe in there, and feels like butter. Smooth as a baby's bottom. Also, while we're in there, you can just check the temp in different places. Looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and pull this off. And then what we'll do is we're going to let the meat rest in a cooler. This is the hardest part for me, because I always want to get in there and taste it. But the reason you do this is so that the juices can go back into the meat
and all that moisture can go back into the meat. So it's important you give your meat some time to rest. And with a brisket, really, you want to let it sit there for about an hour. Alrighty, now you can see, I cut into it, how juicy it is inside there. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. There's the flat part. Look at that juiciness. Good. Look at the smoke ring too. Came out great. So just to recap, cooked for about 7 hours in the kettle, and I probably had about 3 hours of charcoal left. So I think that you can definitely get about 10 hours in a Weber kettle without having to add charcoal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll be back with next time cooking something else.